Good afternoon. If we will be going ahead and starting out of respect for everyone's time, would Representative Williams like to lead us in a quick invocation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you again for the many blessings and opportunities you have bestowed upon each and every one of us, dear Lord. Please bless our men and women in harm's way, and bless our law enforcement officers as they protect us and serve us. Dear Lord, please heal this world of this dreaded disease that we have been facing for so long. In thy name we pray, amen.
Thank you. All right, we will start with hearing on House Bill 148. Do we have the author? Yeah, I don't see her. All right, we will go ahead to, we'll hold that on for now and hear House Bill 78. Representative Bruce. If you'd like to sit, that's up to you, whichever one you prefer.
If you don't mind, I'm going to ask Rodney Little to join me here. Rodney, there he is. Come on. He's helped on this legislation as well. I want to first thank for the opportunity to present House Bill 78. This legislation is born out of a Republican-led bipartisan initiative dating way back on March the 2nd, 1969. Then President Richard Nixon issued Executive Order 11458, establishing the Office of Minority Business.
I didn't come in here that much then because I really.
Okay. On October 13th, 1971, President Nixon issued Executive Order 11625, which clarified the authority of the Office of Minority Business Enterprise. In 1979, it was a renaming that established the Minority Business Development Agency, and that continues to this day at the federal level. Several years ago, under Governor Nathan Deal, the Georgia Department of Transportation, working with the aforementioned federal agency, had legislation passed that established a process and a review system to ensure that equity and diversity in the issuance of state contracts as related to the Department of Transportation became law. House Bill 78, simply what it does, it takes the bipartisan legislation that took place in the Department of Transportation and expands it to all state departments. Georgia has about 159 counties, well, has 159 counties, and about 70 plus of those counties need economic development, and that's part of what this is about. Any initiative that increases business growth, increases job opportunities, new personal income and local government income opportunities is a win-win for everybody. And I'm hoping that this committee will support this opportunity for us to be able to expand business in the state and continue to be known as the state that everybody wants to do business with, the #1 state in the country to do business in. In short, what this bill does, it establishes an Office of Supplier Diversity, increases the number of companies doing business with the state, calls for a disparity study to pinpoint the opportunities to improve the diversity and state contracts and how we distribute the state dollars. Any overall improvement for economic development, economic growth across this state makes this a good piece of legislation for all of us to deal with. I'm gonna stop talking because I want to give the people that have come to speak. And I want to show you the enthusiasm. You know, I was notified of this meeting on Friday after business hours. And the people that are here, they really want to talk about this because we contacted them over the weekend and they've done everything they could to be here to share their thoughts on it. So with that.
You'd like to, so if you, whichever is easier, yeah, if you would like to go on the second chair, we can just rotate the mic to you.
Okay, thank you.
First, I'd just like to ask all those folks who came to support HB 78, just please raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you to the chair of the House Governmental Affairs Committee and staff for granting a committee hearing on House Bill 78 that was originally filed in 2021 by State Representative Roger Bruce of House District 61, along with his other colleagues. My name is Rodney James Littles. I am a small minority business owner practicing management and financial consulting to firms large and small, assisting them with their real estate and business development projects. I live in the city of South Fulton. I started my career with David J. Burgos and Associates, who was a consulting firm that had contracts with the U.S. Department of Commerce's Minority Business Development Agency. Burgos was awarded contracts in New England, the Mid-Atlantic, and Midwestern states to provide management and financial consulting services to businesses owned by people of color. I have firsthand knowledge of what a positive economic impact a successful business development program can have on a distressed community. Since those days, I have established my own firm, R.J. Littles and Associates, and we provide professional business development consulting services to women-owned businesses, Hispanic, Asian, African-American, and other disadvantaged-owned businesses. Our firm over the years has raised over $100 million in loans and equity for clients that were startups as well as established businesses in sectors such as manufacturing, transportation, service, retail, real estate, energy, and technology. I support the passing into,
Well, no, your mic did not get muted. I think it was just a technical error. I want to bring to the attention of the speaker and to the author, we have 4 bills and we have 1 hour of time. So I know you have prepared remarks. So I would encourage you to, depending on how many folks you'd like to get to hear speak, because we're going to limit it to a certain point.
I'm wrapping up.
Yeah, no worries. And you can, of course, submit the written testimony as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I support passing the law, HB 78, the Georgia Economic Growth Act. This act will codify the current Georgia State MBE program, including the GDOT program for all state agencies, institutions, and authorities. The bill sets the groundwork for a successful supply diversity program to be developed using the best practices from corporate America right here in Georgia. Part of the bill creates a staff in the new Office of Supply Diversity in the General Services Administration to contract for a disparity study, which is an evaluation of procurement and contracting practices of state agencies. The study will determine the availability of diverse and women-owned businesses by industry to perform as a contractor or subcontractor to the state's procurement process for goods and services. If you want to get a study that was done by the Harvard Business Review, that would be very helpful. It was titled, "Why Do You Need a Supply Diversity Program?" by Alexis Bateman, Ashley Barrington, and Katie Date. And I will cut my comments further other than to say that we would really appreciate your strong consideration for the bill. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to committee members. I'm going to let you know by the show of hands that you asked for. It's reflective on the amount of folks who want to speak on this bill. So we're going to limit. We have 1 hour and 4 bills. We're going to limit comments to 1 minute apiece. And I'd ask the committee members if you have questions or clarifications to also be succinct so we can hear all 4 bills. With that, I'm going to open it up to committee members first. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Bruce, does this looks like it's forming another department? Do we need a fiscal note on this?
It's an office within a department that already exists.
It's an office, what?
It would be in a department that already exists.
Okay, so it's going to be, will there be additional staff, additional expenses incurred?
A limited amount, but it would be, the department would be budgeted and this would be part of the budget for that department. It already exists.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, Representative Maynard.
Thank you, Chair. Representative Bruce, thank you for bringing the bill to this committee. It definitely is needed. We know that. I do like that it will create this disparity study once initially, and then by reading the bill, it says every 2 years. I also like the fact that, when people think about MBEs, sometimes they forget that women are part of that category. So not only does this help minority-owned business owners, but it also helps women-owned business owners, no matter what your racial demographic is. I do want to also bring to just the committee's attention to lines 328 and 329. And it says, provide for joint ventures, which a bidder may count toward meeting participation by minority and women-owned business enterprises. That actually is really important because it says that even if it's a non-minority business doing business, they can still qualify for this because they are partnering with a minority, either from race or gender. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes questions from the committee. I have a quick question, and it's probably, I'm asking it because it's probably language utilized in other models, but line 50, at least 70% owned by one or more minority groups. Is that 70%, is that a common number? 70% of the business is owned by one of the listed groups?
We listed that in part because there are some companies, we saw in prior situations where the company was not really owned by a minority. And so we said 70 as a measure to make sure that it was in fact a minority owned company. But that's not a deal breaker. If we need to change that, we can talk about that.
Just a point of interest, but thank you. We're going to go ahead with members of the public who have signed up to speak. We're going to do this by those in the room first, and I'd ask again to be as succinct as possible. We are limiting it to 1 minute. With that, Miss Nancy Johnson. Where's the podium? Yes, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. I just want to kind of build on Representative Bruce's comment. So over the years, we know that establishing minority business enterprise programming has boosted the nation's economy, starting with President Richard Nixon. There are at least 38 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, that currently operate minority business programs. So there's a lot there that we can learn from, and we can build a really strong program. But also the private sector has also demonstrated a long-standing understanding of the economic impact. In fact, 12 of the top 15 supplier diversity programs at Fortune 500 firms, according to Diversity Inc., are companies that are based or here in Georgia, AT&T, Southern Company, Cox, et cetera. So in closing, Governor Kemp, why do I do that? Governor Kemp has often said he wants to make this state the best, not only for big business, but small business. We want to be sure women and minority-owned businesses are included in the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Donna Ennis, and then after Ms. Grace Fricks. And if I butcher your name, please correct me. I'm used to that up here.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am the Director of Diversity Engagement and Program Development at Georgia Tech's Enterprise Innovation Institute. And in my role, I oversee the Georgia Tech Procurement Assistance Center, or GTPAC, as well as I'm the Director of the Georgia Minority Business Development Agency, or MBDA Business Center. And as mentioned before, MBDA was established by the then Richard Nixon in 1968. It is the only federal agency focused solely on growing, strengthening, and advocating for minority businesses. So through MBDA and our Georgia MBDA Business Center, we see and experience firsthand the positive impact that supplier diversity programs have on assuring that minority-owned companies not only gain access to contracting opportunities, but that they gain equitable access to these opportunities. So really quickly, between 2016 and 2021, our Georgia MBDA Business Center helped MBEs secure $6 billion in contracts and finance and close to 6,000 jobs right here in Georgia. Many of these contracts were gained through government and supplier diversity programs that provided the opportunities for our businesses to compete. These tools are powerful and play a significant role in contributing to the economic strength of Georgia. They open doors to opportunities, large and small, that drive revenue, create jobs, and ultimately build wealth. So since Georgia is consistently named one of the best states for businesses large and small, we want Georgia to be known as the best state for minority and women-owned businesses. HB 78 will be the catalyst for helping us to do that. Thank you. Nice job.
Grace Fricks. For you, it will be Miss Rachel Shanklin.
Okay. Thank you so much for this hearing today. I'm Grace Fricks. I'm the founder and president of Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs, or ACE. And I drove from my home in Cleveland, Georgia, so that I could be here because this is very important to me. And it's very important to Georgia. I'm the founder of our organization, and 20 years ago, I founded it in the back of my house with $50,000 from a federal grant to serve Appalachian counties, just 4 of them. Today, 22 years later, we serve all North Georgia, and we also serve metropolitan Atlanta with plans to expand. And we have just last year alone, out of that $50,000 start, last year alone, we lent $32.5 million to 767 businesses. 47% of those businesses just last year were women-owned. 78% went to Black or Brown-owned businesses. 38% went to low to moderate income business owners. Our secret sauce is capital combined with the coaching and connections. Yes, connections. And the connections mean contracts. So today I'm coming to tell you how important this is for all Georgians. We want to stay the #1 rated small business friendly state in the country. And I know that firsthand, we've got the qualified, skilled businesses, both women-owned, minority-owned, and everybody-owned that can fulfill the contracts. So I appreciate your time. And I did want to say one thing, because I am from rural Georgia, that one of the reasons this is needed so badly and right now is because of the broadband expansion. The broadband expansion means that people like me don't have to live in Atlanta.
we can stay home
All right.
and build our communities.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to thank you for speaking. We can go ahead and bring the other speaker on. We are at 2:19 and we have 3 more bills. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to still give every speaker 1 minute. But if you take less, there's more opportunity for others. At this rate, we will not probably hear everyone on Zoom, but we will try our best to get as many as possible. And Mr. Roz Lewis will be after.
Hey, good afternoon, Chairman Sains and members of the committee. My name is Rachel Shanklin, and I am the Georgia Outreach Manager for Small Business Majority. We are a 501c3 national small business education and advocacy organization that empowers America's diverse entrepreneurs to build a thriving and inclusive economy. I will keep my comments brief. Essentially, I would just like to note that the impact of supplier diversity programs trickle down into local communities, building greater economic resiliency and social benefits. Research has found that when companies work with minority-owned suppliers, they contribute to job creation, which leads to increased tax revenue and higher wages. Higher wages enable workers to invest back into their local economy, and this in turn generates a ripple effect throughout the region and can further aid economic recovery, create growth opportunities, and improve overall quality of life. This same research, which is from Michigan Business, found that supplier diversity is beneficial to businesses by 1, improving their bottom line, 2, driving competition on price and service levels, and promoting innovation and boosting the economy. By passing this bill, you would be investing in Georgia's small businesses, benefiting our state's economy overall. We all know that Georgia has been ranked number one for the past 9 consecutive years, and this legislation will ensure that we do stay competitive. Thank you so much.
Ms. Lewis, and then after will be Melvin Coleman.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you listening to us, and hopefully at the end of this, you will all become a champion of this bill. I'm Roz Lewis, President and CEO of the Greater Women's Business Council, and we're a regional partner of the Women's Business Enterprise National Council out of Washington, D.C. So we're a third-party certifier for women businesses. So regardless of ethnicity, we are gender-driven and certify women businesses. We cover the state of Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. So when I think about that, even though I reside here and we're headquartered here and this organization started here by Delta Airlines and UPS, it's important, I still have a kindred, that Georgia needs to be #1 in the country for supporting economic growth, and that includes all minority and women-owned businesses. So on the numbers, it's 32.8% of businesses in Georgia are women. And you might know a few of them that are a part of my organization: Carol Nance of Nance Carpet and Rug, Monica Maldonado of IPCOM, Exhibit South is Marlene Kelly, Mrs. Freeze down in South. So thank you, but please, I hope that you all support this bill.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Coleman. And then after will be Sterling Johnson.
Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity. Georgia is the #1 state to do business. Now, we understand it's very hard to stay on top. We believe that the way forward is for Georgia to be well aligned with the values of major corporations as it pertains to DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion. When we talk about inequality and the racial wealth gap, which I believe is an existential threat to the overall security of our nation, we believe we can make a difference with a program like this. I'm a native of Savannah, Georgia, born and raised, so it means a lot to me when my state has an opportunity to lead. Thank you.
Thank you for your brevity. You win the award so far. And after will be Mr. Ellis, I believe.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for the opportunity to present and to hear our topics on this and our issues and ideas on this topic. My name is Sterling Johnson, and I represent the Partnership for Southern Equity, which is a 501c3 here in Georgia. I'm the director of our economic inclusion portfolio, and we are in support of HB 78. We believe wholeheartedly that shared prosperity and equitable growth is the superior growth model, and that equitable growth means leveraging both public and private resources to make sure that people and community are positioned positioned to benefit well from positive market outcomes. We see this and we've seen the history of these types of programs across our country and in our state as well. Of course, thinking back on the history of Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the 1996 Olympic Games, the City of Atlanta's Equal Business Opportunity Program. We've seen the way that these types of programs create positive return on investment and economic activity for those who are intended to serve, being low wealth communities of color. And so when thinking about this issue, we would encourage you all to consider passage, because this will help to flow the public contracting opportunity and dollars down from the metro Atlanta area into our rural and coastal communities as well. And we are wholly in support of this bill. So thank you all for the opportunity.
All right. After Mr. Ellis will be Chris Lugo.
Good afternoon. My name is Ernest Ellis, and I'm a president of the National Association of Minority Contractors. We're a 52-year-old trade association advocating on behalf of minority firms throughout the country with a chapter here in Atlanta for over 40 years. I'm also the president and CEO of FS360, which is the general contractor operating throughout the Southeast. And I'll make 3 quick points. Number one, this is an economic diversity package that's going to deliver return on investment to the state of Georgia, number one. Number two, this is also a workforce development bill. Minority firms, diverse firms employ more Black, brown, and female people than any other demographic in this state. We will bring more Black and brown people into the construction industry, which is also the third point I want to make, is that this bill will directly lead to more people entering the middle class by bringing people, male and female, Black and brown, into the construction industry and other industries at not only a livable wage, but a middle class wage in a very quick order. For instance, real quickly, construction, entry-level fees and wages are $17 to $19 an hour. In 5 years, those people can be making $75,000 to $100,000 a year. This bill will help facilitate those kind of entry-level opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And after Mr. Lugo will be Veronica Maldonado.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Lugo, Executive Director of the Out Georgia Business Alliance, Georgia's only chamber of commerce serving the LGBTQ+ community. We also aid in the certification process for LGBT-owned businesses. We support House Bill 78, which is a powerful move to better understand, support, and advance Georgia's minority and women-owned businesses. This legislation will positively impact Georgia's economy and the employees, communities, and families of those businesses across the state. With the proposed launch of a disparity study and the creation of an Office of Supplier Diversity, we believe there's also an opportunity to ensure House Bill 78 is in alignment with national best practices in Georgia-based corporations leading the way in supplier diversity by not only including women and minority-owned businesses, but also LGBTQ-owned, veteran-owned, and disability-owned businesses. Like many corporations, Out Georgia values diverse and robust supply chain that will drive economic growth and innovation and healthier communities across our state. To be clear, we support House Bill 78, and we encourage deeper intention with the disparity study and proposed impact on Georgia's diverse businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go to Ms. Maldonado, and then afterwards, we're actually going to hear from Representative Mary Frances Williams, who did request to speak. So just so you're on notice, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Veronica Maldonado Torres. I'm president and CEO of the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We're here to support the domestic and international economic development of our businesses and serve as a bridge to non-Hispanic entities, because at the end of the day, the focus is to grow together and win together. I have a very unique perspective on this. My family came here over 40 years ago. We're in a third generation of the business, and supplier diversity has been a specific area that has helped catapult countless businesses throughout the country, especially businesses like my family business. Today, I'm in a position leading over thousands of businesses throughout the state of Georgia, and we're seeing the rise of Hispanic businesses here, the future Latinas starting businesses at 6 times faster than the average cohort. What for me is really astounding about this opportunity is that we pride ourselves on being a very inclusive and pro-business friendly state. I had the pleasure prior to this role of leading a pride and joy of our state, which was the state's first state-sponsored mentor protege program called the Georgia Mentor Protege Program under the Governor Roy Barnes. And it's interesting to see how we developed and created that program, which was on mentorship and development, specifically around minority-owned businesses, with major organizations. Would love to find a way to bring supplier diversity back as a true component so we can continue to attract the businesses that want to grow here and align our core values with where it is. Thank you for the opportunity. The GHCC is supportive of this bill, and we'd love to see HB 78 move forward. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. We have time to hear from one Zoom person. I apologize, I misspoke. Representative Mary Frances Williams didn't request to speak. We're going to hear from Stacy Key, and then the other individuals on Zoom who did list a comment. There's about 12 to 13 here. I would ask you to put on the comment so that it's in the committee record, the bill number, House Bill 78, and any comments you would like to make, and it'll be put on record. So with that, Ms. Stacy Key.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And just not to repeat all that's been said by the wonderful speakers that have shared their position, GMSDC, the Georgia Minority Supplier Development Council, is in full support of HB 78. The one thing that I'd like to add that has not been shared today is that recently GMSDC commissioned a study on the state of minority business nationally, as well as on the state of Georgia. Minority businesses are indeed growing in Georgia, but at a current rate, it would take us 100 years for us to achieve economic parity with their mainstream peers. Our corporate community is signing on to a 1% pledge, an initiative we created that would reduce that time from 100 years to 15 years. If large supply chains commit to increase their diverse spend by 1% a year, we can get there in 15 years, my lifetime at the very least. The state of Georgia is a huge procurement organization that purchases every service and commodity imaginable. We respectfully ask that you can join the corporate Georgia in taking a proactive measure to welcome minority suppliers to the table and pass HB 78. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Key. With that, we're going to conclude hearing audible testimony, but again, we'll accept submitted items. As a closing comment, that's not my phone, at least. As a closing comment, Representative Bruce, would you like to make any remarks?
Again, I want to thank the committee for hearing it. Are we going to take a vote or?
We will be taking no vote on any of the bills. This is hearing only. However, it's not required to have a vote in subcommittee. It's to the committee's preference. So there would be no votes on any of the bills.
So what would be the next steps for it to go forward?
That'd be, it's eligible within the committee. I encourage you to talk to the chairperson's office after the hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that, we're going to hear House Bill 148. Representative Schofield, I believe she was here earlier, right? Okay, sorry, you can have a visual on you over there.
Yes, sir. And I will be very quick. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This is a simple bill. This bill came before the committee last session. It was introduced in 2019 by Representative then Valencia Stovall. It came back as a sub of HB, which is the new number is HB 148. And basically this bill allows members appointed to, and it was bought by Clayton County. And so it allows members of their development authority to receive the right to receive a hearing prior to being removed from their position. Currently, the members could be removed without allowing members to hear why they're being removed. So this bill not only gives them the opportunity, but the other part of this bill, it is also allows business owners that are in the district that have a stake in the jurisdiction can also bring another perspective to drive economic development. It creates a development authority and provides an option at the county where the discretion to include residents, a licensed taxpayer, business owners within the county can serve on the development authority. So it passed unanimously last time. I'm here asking for favorable consideration.
There doesn't seem to be any questions from the committee. I have a quick question. Has the Development Authority Association, I know they have a state association, have they weighed in on the bill?
I'll yield to Representative Brunel, who's.
What number are you?
1.
Thank you.
Yes, they did. They had some comments.
Good or comments or bad comments?
They were pretty neutral. They just approached us today and they sent some language that they would like to see considered as a change in the bill or amendment for the bill.
And she sent me something, an update that says if it really is just for Forest Park, Clayton County, that they're remaining neutral.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You have a question from Representative Maynard?
Thank you, Chair. I was just going to say that someone from a development authority did contact me saying that they did not like the bill. So just for the record, and just a thought, lines 23 through 24. A lot of times board members, they make those type of selections just within the bylaws instead of, making it so concrete in law. And for 42 through 43, it's based on 1990 census data. So I'm not sure if you would want to just update that because the numbers would be more reflective of what the population is currently.
Okay, thank you. We'll take that into consideration. I really appreciate that. Any other questions?
Real quick, I don't think it's a material question, but is there a reason that directors in the bill were replaced with board members?
You know that?
To be honest, I don't remember, but I can go back through my notes and answer your question.
That's all right. I doubt it'd be material. I just
Mm-mm.
thought I'd ask. There is no other questions from the committee. Like we said earlier, no bill will be getting a vote, which is not necessary. It's up for general consideration from the committee still. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much to the committee.
All right, Madam Chair, Chairman Taylor, we have House Bill 1182, wherever you'd like to speak to the bill. Sure. What number are you? 12?
12. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have the first bill, I have two today, but this one is House Bill 1182. And it really is written specifically for an issue that I have locally. It's a project that started over 60 years ago. It's called the Tired Creek Project. And it has to do with the county owns this property and they're now trying to develop it. And our attorney came to us and said that we'll need some clarification in the law. And that's all that this does.
There does not seem to be any questions from the committee or public. So with that, we could, if it's to your pleasure, we will go to House Bill or House Resolution 630.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was a important bill resolution that I'm bringing. For the last 5 years, we've been meeting in the Rural Council, going over and looking at issues that are affecting our state, particularly in our rural communities. One of the things that we have found, and there's been many, how can we help our rural communities? And one of the things that we have looked at is we have some communities and counties in particular that have gotten a little bit smaller, and some of our school systems, and there's a struggle financially. So we want to look at, this is not aiming at anybody in particular. This is just to look at the process. What do we need to do? It's going to make a study committee, that's all it is, to look at ways to help some of these counties. Do they need to consolidate? Do they need to share services? What can we do and how can we help them? When you have counties that have less than 5,000 in population, we have one that's less than 3,000. It's very hard for a community like that to be able to supply all the services that their citizens need. So this will give us an opportunity to look at it and see how we can help them. I will tell you, this is a committee sub LC 432256S. And when we put this together, we wanted to include school boards also. Again, that's a large part of it. And we have included adding members from the education field to be part of this committee. Are there any questions?
You seem to have explained it so well, there is none. So with that, like the other bills, it's up for consideration I believe you'll have a good chance. With that, we are going to conclude the meeting. I do apologize. We do seem to be early. Is there any individuals on Zoom who had any wanted to still speak? I know it was a previous bill on any bill that we've heard today. We allocated more time for the three bills than we needed. They
Yes,
are.
yes,
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring that list back up. Go ahead. I hear someone about to speak. Who's that?
Yes, my name is Sandeep Gauba, and I'd like to speak in favor of HB 78. I am the president and CEO of Metasys Technologies and past president of the U.S. Pan-Asian American Chamber of Commerce Southeast. Also serve on the Regional Advisory Council and also have been past president of the Georgia Minority Supply Development Council as the board member. The U.S. Pan-Asian American Chamber of Commerce Southeast is an affiliate of the U.S. PAC National, which was founded in 1984 as a national nonprofit, nonpartisan Pan-Asian American organization representing Asian American and Asian American related groups in business sciences, arts, sports, education, public and community services. The US PAC certifies as businesses that are at least 51% owned, controlled, and operated by Asian American individuals. The following corporations in Georgia have representatives on the board of the US PAC Southeast: Truist Financial Corporation, Grady Healthcare, CVSL, Georgia Power, Train, UPS, Novant Health, and Logitech. All of the aforementioned companies have robust supply diversity programs that look to expand their utilization in support of certified, at least 51% owned, controlled, and operated ethnic minority, women, disabled, veteran, and LGBT owned and small businesses. Being a diversity business myself, I can certainly share with this group that we have significantly benefited from the certification programs and the opportunities that these private organizations were able to afford to us. So looking at where Georgia wants to be as the #1 state for businesses, certainly for economic diversity and growth, very much in favor and support of HB 78 and truly appreciate everybody's kind consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Miss Melinda Sylvester.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. I guess it was worth just hanging in there, right? I'm the founder, president, founder, and CEO of the Greater Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce, and we support HB 78. And I want to say I also had the opportunity to sit on Georgia First Commission and heard some of the great stories of how the state of Georgia wants to move forward and be greater, had the opportunity to meet with the governor. I truly believe this will just open up more doors as we can look at just within our organization. We have economic development opportunities, and we had Alan Fox on our call last week. And right now we have like $1 billion of projects. And I don't want to echo everything everyone else says, but I do want to say this would just make Georgia greater. Yes, Georgia is the #1 state to do business. We're proud to be Georgians. We're proud to serve and work in Georgia. And we just want to say, let's all go to the next step, next level, and make Georgia greater and keep Georgia on everyone's mind. Thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate you all. Have a blessed rest of your day.
Thank you for holding on and your comments. Ms. Henry, are you still with us and would like to speak? If not, we'll go to Ms. Ghosh. And calling once, twice, Ms. Schreiner. And we might have pulled the time. We appreciate everyone who came here today. We Ms. Michelle, did you want to comment?
I am not planning on addressing any comments today. I am here to listen and to support House Bill 78. It is quite evident that multiple groups, women-owned, minority-owned, and others would benefit from such a bill in terms of the investment across the communities.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. That will conclude the subcommittee for general government today. We'll have a 2 o'clock meeting for 3 o'clock meeting for subcommittee on redistricting and election. Thank you. Have a great day.